All right, good morning. Back for another video here. Want to talk about some changes that have gone on. Just going through my worksheet here from the top down. Want to just talk from weekly to daily back. So we've had a couple changes. We dropped below the 20 moving average on the weekly, and we've gone below the 100, 50, and 20 on the daily. I believe this is more of like a corrective move versus turning into a full-fledged bear market, but time will tell. What difference does it make on the daily time frame? For a trader like myself and probably you, not a whole heck of a lot, other than beware of liquidation breaks, and keep an eye on the tempo, the overall direction and order flow, and the market internals. So going to skip through the market structure here. I don't think it's going to affect us too much today. I didn't update. A couple of these are probably no good anymore. Not to worry about, because I look back, we don't really have a poor low or anything that's in the immediate future. However, we do have a weak low yesterday, believe it or not. It looks like a good low. But if you go back to the 27th of June, maybe I can pull that in here, maybe not. Anyway, let's go through this here. Attempted direction was lower, very successful as a normal variation day, and we've got an excess high and we got a weak low, and I'll tell you about that. So I don't think the high is that great. It's an excess high, but it's not on a reference or anything, but there's overnight inventory above it. There's just a lot of room for some rolling back at some point. I'm calling the overnight inventory net long this morning, about 75%. Overall, the Asian market was one time framed up. Then we had a move, kind of a zigzag down on the TPOs, but it's overall the whole up and down is just rotational right now. Some of this news is out already, and well, I haven't looked at the results or filled this in. But at 9:45 we've got the Chicago PMI, and then at 10:30 the crude oil stocks. So if you're trading crude oil, that makes a difference, and it can affect the S&Ps, but how the oil trades. But we've got CPI at 9:45. All right. So this is what we're looking at here, mainly. So let's look at the charts first. I'll pull this back in. Again, here's the daily chart. Again, I don't think we're in this big bear trend or anything. Let me show you what I mean. So we've got this zigzag down. So we've got A, B, C. Of a, this is a 1, 2. Let me see something here. Did we get inside of, let me erase that. So we haven't entered, this is where the idea is wrong of this being an impulsive, hang on a minute. So one of my buttons on my keyboard is not functioning properly. Okay. So we've got a impulsive move up, 1, 2. So this is a zigzag down, either a zigzag or a flat. Okay, I got to get this fixed. This is kind of becoming a problem. All right, sorry about that. Then this impulsive wave up, and this would be wave 4. I think this is a zigzag down versus it being a hang on, I'm getting a little discombobulated here. Get rid of this. Okay, this is a sharp zigzag down versus this being is probably a flat, and that falls with alternation. If you're not into the wave principle, then it's going to sound like gobbledygook or hocus pocus to you. But I think this green line. No, that's not what that was. I was looking at the lows. So what I want to focus on. If you see this green line here, a couple days back, I was talking about we possibly have a head and shoulders pattern, and looking for a measured move, and I do believe we got that. So if we go from this high down to the neckline and we move this off, let's see how far, if we've made it or not. Let's move it to here. Okay, according to this, there would be some more room to the downside. That would take out our idea of this being a 3-4, and we might enter this into being a 1-2. But I don't know if we'll get down that low or not. So if we go back to the 27th, let me pull in the crosshairs. So this is the 27th right here. Okay, this bar. There's potential to take out this low, come back down here, take out this low as well. I don't think we have the best structure. Lately, for the longest time, we don't have the best structure in either direction, really. What does that mean? Well, it means that very often, if the way the market builds its direction is highly emotional, unfinished auctions and things like that, it tends to come back through there at some point in time, later date. All right, the purple is a 50, the white is 100, and the red is a 20 moving average. When I see moving averages kind of start to, it's not coiling, but start to dance like this, you get them a little out of whack. You get the 50, 120. It often, for whatever reason, it seems to it's hard to get away from this. So am I expecting another rocket move to the downside? Anything can happen, right? We'll see what happens. Came down on high volume yesterday, and let me check the open interest here. Did that increase or not? Just a moment. Open interest. Yeah, it looks like we added 339,000 contracts yesterday. I'm pulling this in from an indicator versus going to the CMA site. It's all relative. This may not be what it says on I think on the CME site it's going to say 200 and some million. But I'm pulling this in with an indicator, and it's kind of relative. I don't really care about the number exactly. It's just the overall change. It's going to reflect that there's increasing open interest. That's all I care about. All right, let's move this down. Let's look at where we are right now, and we'll talk about trading plan for today loosely. I say loosely because very often, especially the last couple days, there's been a blend because sometimes the dynamics of the day change as the day goes on. So not even necessarily news events, but just whoever's entering the market. But right now, we are, if we were to open right now, we got another 40 minutes. This gray shaded area, this is the value area high right here. We're in range above value. Generally in range is going to bring a little chop. It's, maybe better to wait till it plays out a little bit. But it also depends on a lot of things. So if the tempo and the market internals are kind of mixed and it's kind of neutral, we might look to play some of these references. We got the overnight, well, it looks like it moved. Let's say volume point of control. I don't know where it went. It must be down here. Is that it? Oh, it's right there. It's right under the pivot point, so I couldn't see it. It's pink. All right, volume going to. So now we got a confluence of references right here at the pivot point and the overnight volume point of control. It's also the psych number of 4,000. It might be a bounce point early, and if we get under it, it might be a place to sell from. But kind of squeezed in here. You got a VWAP. That's the green line. You got the value area high. I don't know. Just see what comes and take it from there. But let me pull back my little trade plan here, just go over it roughly. So we're talking about rejecting the first story, and this is not in any particular order of importance. However, we are above value area of yesterday. So the first thought might be we're going to reject yesterday's value area. So we want to buy the value area high. So I have sell or buy here, but it basically, in this case, it means maybe I should flip this out and make it a little more specific. But the idea is, this would be if we're above or below. So if we're below, we want to sell the value area low. Anyway, it's just the way I've set this up. We want mixed to positive market internals. We obviously don't want strongly negative, right? We don't want a super high confidence open to the downside. Doesn't mean that it won't be still a good trade if that's the case, because we may get rejected out of there. But we want to build value above the value area high, or fail to build value inside the value area early. So what I mean is, we could just truck on down in here, but it thins out, or it seems like it doesn't want to stay. And in that case, somebody could put a resting order here and might be successful. And if you don't, you might miss the trade. The other way to do it is to come down here, and because the last 2 years the market has seemed to not be very respectful of references, meaning it kind of they're blurry. They're levels and zones versus a specific price. And I mean, it's kind of always been that way, but more so lately, you get a lot of flim-flam around those areas for a while. So coming in here, the trade would be when it comes back out to maybe buy it back on the top side. All right. Now the next thing would be if we enter the value area and move to the value area low. That would be the story that might play out. And we want to see rejection of higher prices. So again, we could open and try to go up, but we start seeing a rejection of higher prices and trading towards yesterday's value area low, VPOC, and low of day. Now the VPOC is above the value area low. I should change the order of this. We want mixed to negative market internals. Could even be strong, right? But mixed to negative. A move inside the value area and building value below value area high. This is very important. If we start to see trading that's below the value area high and it's building value, unless it looks like it's getting stymied, sometimes you can build value and it's like a B shape, meaning there's buyers underneath and people are just getting stuffed. That's the way I term it. They're getting stuffed. They're selling into it and there's buyers underneath. Basically, when we start building out some value, we're getting acceptance of prices there. There's two-sided trade going on, and we're looking for the auction to lower. So we must never forget it's a market auction process, and we need to pay attention to what's the auction doing. The next thing would be to open in range in value. Again, we have about 36 minutes till the open. That could happen. Hasn't happened yet. And the strategy would be to rotate within yesterday's value area or range, and it be a balancing day. I can see that happening. We've had a couple pretty strong down days. Markets often like to take a rest, and this might be the end of the downside move. I don't know, or at least for a day or so. So we've got enter the value area early or open within the value area. Okay, so even if we opened up here, this could still play out. Market internals, neutral mix, slow tempo, low confidence open. So we're looking for a rotation. It may or may not make to the value area low. And it may rotate in there for a while and then come back out to one side or another. And this is a blend between story 2 and story 3, because this just means if we open down inside of there, but we could also, tagging off a story 2, enter the value area very early. Story 4 would be to take out the previous high of day with continuation. We're looking to reject the value area high early, and early means immediately, first 30 minutes, first hour and a half, something like that. Maybe even the first 2 hours. But past that, if we're still inside the value area, these other ones would probably be in play. But we want to develop value overlapping to higher, which means we could start getting a lot of volume in here around the 4,000 level and volume below, but we're overlapping to higher in our value area for today. And then we're looking for positive market internals. They're either neutral or slowly getting positive, and we'd like to see a high confidence open. I say slowly because, again, things change throughout the morning. We could have a rocket ship to the moon early, or it could be sitting on the launch pad for a while before it ever takes off. So it may or not be high confidence, but at some point you start to see those market internals ticking up. We have a high tick and very positive tick overall, more so than negative. We have strong breadth above zero for the buy side, and continuing to grow. It could come out of the gate with super high ratio, but all right, the last one would be the opposite. It would be to take out the prior low of day, but we're going to see story 1, 2, or 3 play out, meaning we got to get to the other side of value. So we're going to start to see signs of this early, but we want to look for momentum and taking out the overnight low and prior low day before we're going to look for continuation. We could take this out but come back in, and then we're back to a balancing day, because we could have a neutral day where we have an initial balance inside the range or even inside value inside range, and we trade above the IB and below the IB and all that. Anything could happen. So we want the market internals by that point to be strongly negative, meaning they're the point you don't want to go contrary to it. You got to find a way to get on board if you're going to get on with it, because it's possibly by that time a trend day. One time framing lower is a good key, and a high confidence open is a good tell that might happen later. Obviously, I say later because it could sell off like it did yesterday. Notice how we had this massive move down in the initial balance, right? It was very strong. If we see something like that, kind of like yesterday, you know, want to try to get on board with it and get as much out of it as you can, and watch out for reversals, because look at what happened yesterday. You know, there was a lot of give and take. All right, well, that's this morning. Hope you make a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye.